radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
All right. Welcome. Welcome. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Today is Thursday, June 13th, 2024. Very excited about the show tonight because that's right. Paul Seaburn is back with us. He's got a new book out, and I've been talking about it all week. It is titled, What Would You Say to a Naked Space Alien? I'm not even sure how to process that, but that is Paul Seaburn for you. We've had an amazing week on the show. Of course, Monday was our 2000th show, and we've been celebrating that anniversary all week. We continued Tuesday with Darcy Weir. Last night, Leela Hutchison, amazing show last night too as well. Tonight, Paul is here. And now we'll get to all of that in a second. And today I was dealing with fun stuff, but getting flight and travel arranged and everything for the rest of the year. And I'm just very excited about what's happening in the rest of 2024, as if the first half of the year wasn't amazing enough. And it's going to continue next weekend, Disclosure Fest Stairway to the Stars here in Southern California at Castaic Lake. The links for everything are below, disclosurefest.org. I'm hosting the event. It is a big event, and everything that you need to know is at disclosurefest.org. And then I'm flying out to Miami for the 2024 Conscious Awards. I'm co-hosting with Giorgio Tsoukalos. He's hosting. I'm off the side of the stage with a microphone. Doing the MC and announcing. It's so much fun. I don't have the pressure. Pressure's on Giorgio. Because this is for television. So there you go. But I'll be wearing a tux off to the side. And that's going on August 3rd and 4th. So tickets for that are at Forbidden Knowledge. Then I've got 3 travel trips coming up. I'm going to Alaska, September 6th through the 13th. Links for that are below. I'm going to Egypt, October 3rd through the 14th. The links for that are below. In Peru and Bolivia in November 15th through the 27th. The links for that are below. Everything is sold out, but there are waiting lists on everything. There might be availability with the cruise to Alaska. I've been getting mixed things there. So, Anyway, the links for everything are below. Now, I wanted to mention something because what I have attempted to do, and I think that we all do this, I just try to build a world around me that just doesn't have any conflict, right? I don't want negative people around me. I don't want negative stuff. I don't involve, but there's other things too as well, right? And it's just making sure everything is right so I don't have to stress. I do this show every day, and I'm doing TV, I'm doing film, I'm doing conferences, and I just want this world here to be flawless. So I did the right thing, and I got new cameras, right? I got new lights, new desk, new stands, new cabling, new compressors for the audio, and I did that, which is something that I was waiting to do for a while. I mean, just rewired everything and cabled up. I got a new chair. Remember, my old one was squeaking, but also it went up above my shoulders, and I didn't like that feeling. I never rest my head back, but I didn't like that. I didn't like that feeling. So now I've got this, everything, and so I went one step further today. Well, I did it a couple of days ago, but it arrived today. I got a new keyboard. I did. And I went over the top. I've got this crazy nice designer keyboard. It is brass and leather. It's very heavy. It's analog with these round typewriter clicky analog buttons, and it types. It's a Rolls Royce. It was way too much money. Okay, I'm just gonna let you know. But I this is where I work, and I need everything to be so comfortable. And so, and then I caught myself in the chat talking about my keyboard because I'm typing and I just want to type on it. So I'm typing, man, I just got this new keyboard. It is so nice, man. I cannot wait to really get this thing working. I got it because I'm in the middle of writing a book, and I just wanted to, and I just made the right decision. It's just like one last little thing just to make this just perfect for me. And man, I'm getting close. It's like there's not much left to do, if there is anything left to do. So with that, man, you know, and I was talking to Paul about this before the show. I'm going to bring Paul in now. I was talking to Paul about this in that I have turned into, I've grown up and matured. I've turned into what I thought I would never become. Somebody that talks about a typewriter keyboard, right? I'm a big, hard-ass, Harley riding, leather-wearing, guitar-playing, Pantera-listening dude that loves his new keyboard. And it's just what happened to me, man. What happened? I need to go back. I need to rewind a little bit and just get back to that assertive dude, because I've lost it. Tonight, Paul Seaburn is with us. We're going to be talking about his new book, What Would You Say to a Naked Space Alien? I'm not sure what I would say to a naked space alien. It depends if it's male or female, and I do mean that, and I say that with a straight face. He is the author of that new book, and also he's into the world of the paranormal. He writes for Mysterious Universe. He's a comedian. He's written for The Tonight Show. He's an Emmy-winning children's show. Oh, by the way, before we get into all of that, that did pop up in the chat earlier, trivia. So I decided, and I did this with my new keyboard, I decided to do some trivia tonight on the show. All right. So this is the deal. I'm going to lay out the rules. These are the rules. It's called Stump the Panel. So if you ask a legit question to Paul, legit, if you ask some dumb shit and I just cussed, I'll chop you. I'll ban you. Make it good. Paul's not going to cheat. He's not going to Google. But the point is, if you stump Paul and it's legit, you get a Fade to Black t-shirt. Yeah. All right. Now, ask something stupid and you get banned. It's no second chance elimination round. That's what we're going to play tonight on the show. And so with that, I'm going to welcome in Paul. Paul, are you down for this?
I'm up. I'm down. I'm anywhere. That sounds good. I wish I had a new keyboard to sit in front of.
I wish. I don't know how long this cable is. I'm going to show this. Look at this thing.
Oh wow.
Look at that. Look the bottom. Nice. Look at the bottom. And it weighs like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's leather and brass with all of these screws. Yeah. Are
you writing a porn book on that? Or
yeah, well, and check it out. It's even got a little bolted in thing, and it says, are you ready? It says legendarily fierce.
Wow.
that's the plaque that's on it.
They put that on there for you, or is that just what they?
Yeah.
Anybody
Man.
who's who's smart enough.
Legendarily fierce. I like that.
Wow.
Man, I think I'm going to steal that. That's actually really good. So yeah, that's my new keyboard. It's really nice. So yeah, nice. So we'll run this throughout the show tonight. If somebody asks Paul a legit question, put the question in all caps. I'm not going to scroll through this and goof around. I'm not going to distract from the show, but it would be a lot of fun if you can stump Paul Seaburn. You know why? Paul is old. Paul is old. So ask him. He knows everything. Ask him a question about chuck wagons because he was there.
Yeah. No, the older.
You can go before that. I remember when they invented the telegraph.
The plague. Ask me about the plague. I remember the plague.
Plague. Yeah, Paul's got an autographed Bible. Yeah. You know what's funny?
The original Hebrew.
Yeah. Is okay. So there is a very, very, very famous actor. And I'm going to say this. I'm not going to say who, but a member of Spinal Tap. Okay. So now you already know those three guys, all three legendary, right? Just tippity top of the top and great films and everything. So one of those three guys I'm with, and I'm cracking jokes and I'm bringing my good stuff in the conversation and I'm not getting any laughs. Right. And I turn to him and I go, I'm funny, right? He goes, no. Just like that.
Oh, I was
like, yeah, man, I was like, man, and it just deflated me. It just deflated me.
That's the first time anybody's ever said that to you?
Well, yes. I make people laugh. I just do it naturally. It's just my conversation, like we're doing right now. And
well, okay. I wanted to talk about, at some point we could talk about how I got into the comedy business, but this is a good place to talk a little bit about that. I was doing stand-up when I lived in Houston, and I opened for a lady by the name of Diana Jordan. She's been around for a long, long time. Very lovely comedian back in the 80s. And so I'm on stage. She's sitting at the bar with my wife and my wife's best friend. And Diane is telling my wife about her terrible relationships, kind of like we just were doing. And she's at one point, my wife tells the story. She says she stopped crying and complaining and started listening to my act. And she turns to my wife and she says, he's a terrible comedian, but he's a really good writer. Do you think he'd sell me one of those jokes? And my wife says, sure, how much? So
I mean, that's a compliment, I think.
Well,
right?
Yeah, she was right. She was right. I'm a much better writer than I am a stand-up. I got bored. You do this show every night. Every night it's different. Every night it's exciting. I like to write. I've written for many talk shows, and I love doing that because every night there's something new on the news or something new for the host to pick on. That thrills me. To go up and do the same 5 or 10 or 15 minutes every night, night after night, changing one line or two doesn't appeal to me at all. So that's why I enjoyed being a comedy writer. That's why I enjoyed being a paranormal writer. Mysterious Universe gave me that opportunity to every day look for the strange, the unusual, the breadth of paranormal, UFOs, Bigfoot, cryptids, all that, ghost, you name it. What an opportunity that was. So yeah, I love doing that. That's a thrill. I wanted to let me preface the trivia thing. One of the publications that I was a regular writer for was a fine publication called Uncle John's Bathroom Reader. So that gives you the level of trivia that I might know, is the kinds of things that you would read while you're in the bathroom.
Usually, I have a friend on Facebook, and she's amazing, and she's got a lot of followers and stuff. But she's a friend of mine. Her name's Shauna, and she posts the funniest stuff. Right? And I mean, some of it's pretty offensive, but it's all spot on, man. She's really good. And yesterday she made me laugh so hard. And so just use your imagination, but this is the post. The post said, "Hello to everybody that is in their bathroom." Right? Now, that's a great post. I mean, and I laughed, and
were you in the bathroom at the time?
Of course I was. And it was so awesome. And people like that can write. The TV show Hacks, and I'm sure you've been watching it, right? And I've already said it. I'll say it again now. I am in love with Jean Smart. Okay, I have proposed marriage to her on the air. She hasn't accepted yet, but she is so good. And the idea behind the show is her relationship with her writer, right? Yeah. And most people don't get that with a comedian like that, where you are going to develop a relationship with your writers, depending on how long your career is. Sure. But that show, I think it is so close to the mark. And Jean Smart, who we all know, she's in everything, right? Yeah. Right? Yeah. She's great. But she didn't know how people would take her as a comedian. And I got to tell you, that's as an actor, for an acting role, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to be convincing at.
Yeah. There was there's been a couple of movies about stand-up comedy. I think Tom Hanks starred in one of them. And Tom Hanks can do just about anything. But I think even he said how tough it was to act as someone who's funny, and also, like you were talking about before, somebody who's not always funny. The thing you have to learn as a stand-up comic is how to bomb, and how to pick yourself up and figure out why that joke bombed, and do it again, change it, or change yourself and do it, or change where you're delivering it, because that's a big thing now. Pick your audience. People need to be aware of that certain people are just not part of your tribe, and are not going to think what you just said is funny. So you got to find your tribe. You got to find comedy clubs that cater to your sense of humor. If you're a woman, boy, that's a tough thing to do. Ethnic. That's why there's so many different ethnic clubs. There's people who specialize in colleges, that sort of thing. One other thing I'll say, talking about comedy is not very funny. So there's no jokes in talking about comedy, but which I love to do, by the way. I used to teach writing. I used to teach writing to adults and to kids. And I would grade papers at the end. I taught 5th and 6th graders, and down at NASA, of all places, when I lived in Houston. I used to go down to the college that was down by NASA, and got all the kids of rocket scientists. Funniest little kid. They're absolutely hilarious, just love to write. And the girls were phenomenal. And I would write a letter to every single parent at the end of the year. And I said, please, I know you think that this is dumb. This is not the kind of career you want for your little rocket science child. But she is really funny. If she wants to go to Hollywood, let her. We need more funny women in Hollywood to do shows like Hack, which I think has a number of women writers, and that's a key reason why it's as funny as it is. So
it's so good. It's so good. I for about 2 or 3 years, I worked with Sam Kinison, and we I wouldn't say that we became best friends or anything like that, but we worked together, and we at a couple of rock clubs, we would MC on these nights and things, and then I ran sound for him for a little bit, and I did some other stuff, and that's another story. But I would watch his ebb and flow. And it was very interesting because I was with him so much, right? And some nights, anything that he said was funny.
Yeah.
Right. And there were other nights where nothing was funny. And I would watch him clear a room. And seeing that, right? And now he was such an extreme talent. But watching him handle it and deal with it was very interesting. There was no way. Now, I hit the stage all the time. It's what I do. And I enjoy it. And I stay in my little sphere.
Right.
But I learned so much from that. I learned so much. It is stand-up comedy, that's got to be the toughest gig. I don't know what's tougher. I don't.
Oh, yeah. Well, Sam was a preacher's son.
Yeah.
And that's where he learned the things that you were talking about, how to read a crowd, how to work the stage, how to work the crowd, how to all the voice inflections. He was a master at that. I used to see him because he got his start in Houston. Here's my Sam Kinison story. So I took a class in stand-up comedy, and the typical stand-up comedy class, you write 5 minutes for yourself. You go up on stage and present it. You load the class with your friend, the showcase, so that you get good laughs. One of the other students was a Catholic nun. Her name was Sister Angelica. So Sister Angelica brings the biggest crowd that you could find. She had more people in the audience than anybody else. Her act was terrible. She killed. She absolutely killed because it was loaded with her friends. Sam Kinison is in town. He comes to the club and he wants to go on stage and do 15 minutes. They said, sure, of course. It's Sam Kinison. You're going to say no to Sam Kinison? So at the end of all these people who are students of comedy, not even working comics yet, including the nun and her clan, Sam Kinison walks out on stage. He didn't talk for more than a minute, and half of the audience, all of the people that she brought, all the people waiting for clean comedy, heard Sam and just walked out the door. And then the rest of us stayed and worshiped the ground he walked on because it was just a lesson.
I saw that happen a couple of times with him, and that, like I said, but there were other nights where everything just fired on every cylinder, man. And it was just, but anyway, back to comedy.
I will get on that subject. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing. And we may have touched upon this last time you were on the show, but I have talked about this a few times over the last couple of weeks, not only with different guests, but I was just at a conference and I'm on stage and I'm hosting at Contact in the Desert, their 10th anniversary party. And it's a chance for me to just kind of get up there and roast a little bit. And, but for some reason, now people know what they get with me now. Okay. So I've got a pass card, but not everybody does. In fact, nobody does. You can't tell jokes about E.T. You can't tell jokes about not this community. It's like this line. They take it so friggin' serious. And why do you think that is? Like the title of your book, which I love, and I've been talking about it all week. I'm getting emails about it. Church, that's not even funny. It's some, and why, and when I've been saying it all week. Well, it depends if it's male or female. right? Well, you know what? That's a funny line. That's an honest, funny line. That is funny.
Yeah,
No,
it is.
it's offensive to. It's like, how
Well,
can you be
the
offended
story
by
is
that?
not offensive. Yeah, Jimmy, I'm in your neighborhood. Okay, I have done UFO conferences recently, as I was building the book and through my connections with Mysterious Universe. And you're right, it is tough to make a UFO audience laugh, to find things that they would find funny. If you read my stuff at Mysterious Universe, I learned at the very beginning, even though my motto is the mysterious doesn't have to be serious, I take the story seriously. It's always a news story from somewhere in the world. I don't make fun of the person telling the story, because it's their story. They believed it. They want me and my readers to believe it. But I can certainly say something funny about my reaction to it, okay? Because that's something funny about me. If I don't, how I react to it is I can put some comedy in that, self-deprecating. So this is one of those stories. Through my it's 11 years now I've been working for Mysterious Universe. I've collected a number of stories that I thought were hilarious, but I wrote them in a serious way. But I collected them, and I said, one of these days I'm going to figure out a way to tell these to that audience and make them laugh. And it hit me one day with this particular story, and that is that what if it happened to me? Just as you said before, what would I say to a naked alien when the door opened, the flying saucer landed? And I'll tell you the story. Here's the story that inspired the. Let me grab my notes here. Believe it or not, I don't have a copy of the book to hold up because I want my peeps to get it first. So Amazon is sending all of the copies of the book to people who order it. So I'm waiting for mine to come in the mail. But the so the guy's name, he was 17 years old, lives in Georgia. His name is David Huggins, and I found him a few years ago when they did a documentary about him called Love and Saucers, which sounds to me like a band name, maybe. Love and Saucers, a boy, two boys, two girls. And the story is that.
Why do I know this story? Why do I know this? Love and Saucers.
Well, they promoted the documentary was promoted.
That's right. Yes, I have seen. Okay, continue.
Yeah. So the story, for those of you who haven't heard it, he's 17 years old. Lives on a farm in Georgia. He's out in the field. A spaceship lands. The door opens. A beautiful alien comes out. She's tall. She's shapely. She's shaped like a human woman with an alien head. Like Jimmy's got up in the corner of his screen over there. She comes down. She talks to him. He's 17 years old. He's blown away. She falls in love with him at love at first sight, and they proceed to have sex with obviously without clothes on. That's hence the title. He falls in love with her. They end up having 50 hybrid babies. Perfect story for Father's Day coming up. He was a good father. He let the kids stay with him on the farm. He went up to the spaceship to visit them. He went to their home planet. He wanted to tell the world the story. Now he's 17 years old, maybe in his 20s by then. He wants to tell the world of this wonderful relationship he had. And there were also male aliens of the ET variety that we were talking about before, little aliens. And according to his story, they would watch them. They would stand around and watch them have sex. They promoted him having sex with the lovely female alien. So he wanted to take pictures. And they all said, oh, no, we can't do that. But he was a painter. He admits, not a very good painter, but a painter. So he showed them his artwork, and they said, oh, that's cool. You can paint pictures of us. Even better, you can paint pictures of us in the act. So, and that's what he did. So the pictures are, for those of you who remember a magazine called Playboy, they're very much like the pictures in Playboy, the cartoons in Playboy. The female aliens very shapely. As I said, the little aliens are standing around watching. He has paintings of his kids, obviously not watching. That's not that kinky. And in 2017, he convinced a documentary film company to promote the story, and that was the story Love and Saucers. So that's the way I wrote the story for Mysterious Universe. But I thought, oh my God, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. What what would I do? What would I do? What would you say?
Right. Well, it would have to be female. This reminds me, Paul, of, so I have a guest on the show. I'm not going to say who, but he proceeds to tell me the story, and now, which I'm going to share the short version of it with you. I'll just get straight to the punchline. But when he's telling me this story, and my response, if it's not a joke, I'm not doing my job. So this is what he says. He says, this is the short version. Okay, I'm just going to get straight to it. He says, he and his neighbor's wife, the two of them, get abducted, go up on a ship, right? And he says he wakes up in bed the next day, and his wife looks at him and says, "What are you wearing?" And he looks down, and he's wearing the nightgown of his neighbor's wife. And he says, he tells his wife that I was abducted last night with Mary. And I guess I came back wearing her clothes. Now, that's the story. Wait a minute here, right? There's just too much. There's too much fodder. This is low hanging fruit, man. Right? This is way low hanging fruit. And so that's a funny story. And what it reminds me of is, now if I don't come back with a joke on that after hearing what his wife said in the morning, I'm not being honest with myself, right? I'm just going to, and I think that's what the audience, now, if you can't laugh at that, there's too many jokes. There's too many things to come back with on that. Even you, I know your brain is spinning. You're like, man, that's good stuff. Yeah.
So what do I say? I put myself in the position of David. What's his name? If I'm 17 years old, first thing I'm going to say to a woman to a female alien who's taking her clothes off, and saying she loves me is, "Are you talking to me?" Because I can't believe it. And then I'm trucking up the stairs faster than the little guys can chase me. If I'm my age now, I'm going to say, "Is your mom on board?" Maybe your grandma.
Right.
And then think about it. Where do you look? This is a space alien. This is somebody who came from another planet. The place where I look, she could say to me, my eyes are up here. Or plus they're over here and they're over here, and I've got two on my back. Please look at me in the eyes, not where you're looking, which is obviously where I would be looking if I was 17 years old. He wanted to take her to meet people. She's naked. He's got to get her a dress. What sizes do aliens wear? Are there sizes in decimal or in pi? It's a different world that they came from. How do you tell your friends? How do you tell your friends that my date for the prom can't come because she's an alien? Oh yeah, right.
Right. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of his name here. Somebody pop it up in the chat. I'm trying to think of his name. He lives in Texas. abductee, and he tells the story about him having sex with a tiger alien woman. And I say tiger because I think he called her a cat. I think she had a tail. And he tells the whole, and it's wild, man. It's wild. And he said it was good. But again, now he laughs about it. You know, he can joke about it. I remember, now this is true. He's on stage with me. We're at a conference, and in the front row, right here, is Linda Moulton Howe. She is sitting listening to this presentation with the two of us up on stage. And I'm asking him, I want to know, right? Sure. And he had everybody laughing. He pretty good. And I turned around and I looked at Linda, and Linda was laughing. And I thought, whew, right? Like we broke through, right? We broke through. And to get that part, that to achieve the levity, right? Where it's just, all right, we can laugh at this. It's really difficult. Do you go into that zone with Mysterious Universe?
No.
I mean,
not with Mysterious Universe. I do in the book. That was the whole reason why I wanted to.
But on Mysterious Universe, there's a line in the sand. As I said, my motto is the mysterious doesn't have to be serious. So I try to tell the stories in an entertaining way. I spent a number of years in the computer business. I was in sales. The best way to sell something is to make people laugh. If you get them laughing, they're much more open to accepting whatever it is you're pitching. So, that was beaten into our head. When I taught sales, that's what I beat into everybody's head. It's the same thing with writing. So I tried to be as entertaining as I could possibly be. That at times is a sacrilege in the paranormal world. We are not supposed to be entertaining. We're supposed to be delivering facts. I am delivering facts. I'm delivering facts in an entertaining way. So I keep your attention rather than you wandering off and looking at another website. So yes, it's a fine line, but it is well defined. And the answer is the simple rule is don't make fun of the aliens. Don't make fun of the people who are the witnesses. Find some other ways to make a funny remark while you're telling the story. So that's what I do. Have you seen the film? Have you seen the film Alienated?
No.
Okay.
I think
this is where Paul. This is where take out a pen and write it down.
Oh, okay.
See, this is where I insert the joke that Paul still knows how to write and he still has paper.
I have. You're right.
So, Alienated is an alien love story, and and the way that it's directed by Darryl Anka, who channels Bashar. And Daryl's very talented. He's a very talented filmmaker and things and actor. But this film, when I was sent it, and Daryl had told me about it, and I've got friends that are involved with the film, like Craig Campabasso casted it, and he's really good at what he does, and he's another good writer. And so I get sent the film, and I'm thinking to myself, alien love story. And I'm not buying into it. And I hadn't even watched it yet. I was like, this is not selling me, right? But I watch it. It's one of the best films that and forget about an indie film and the quality of it and making those compliments. It's really good for an indie film. No, it's just a great film, period. Okay. And it's just really, really well done. And so before you ask yourself, could you fall in love with an alien? Well, you know what? Watch how they do it in this film. It's really well done. You get to the end and you're like, man, I understand. I get it. Yeah. It could happen. And Love and Saucers, which I have seen, I remember the whole story now. That's another difficult thing for people to share with the world, is a story like that. You could probably share it if you're 20 years old. I don't know if you'd share it if you were 50.
Good point. Probably. Well, I don't know. But that thought process, though, is part of my objective for writing the book, because not all of the alien stories that I have in here are naked. I have the counterpart to it, which is the John Lennon story. And I'm sure you've heard the John Lennon UFO encounter story. John Lennon meets the UFO naked. So instead of the aliens being naked, John and his girlfriend, May Pang, at the time, greeted a UFO without any clothes on. But many of our stories of aliens are of violent abductions, and we're planning for them to be coming aggressively and to take over our planet, possibly destroy us, at least eat us, do all those kinds of things. There are plenty of alien encounter stories that are not like that at all, and there are plenty of alien encounter stories that are not little gray ETs. There's I have this one in the book, the classic story where the term little green men originated, which is in Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
That's right. At the cabin with the family. Yeah,
the cabin with the family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's another one. The battle that went on, according to the report, there were empty shells everywhere, all around the cabin, not a body to be found. What possessed them to keep on firing? What was it that they saw that had them going? But the best part is the little green man story, which came at the very end. I wasn't prepared to talk about this one, but but I do like the story. Many of the skeptics who heard the story of the battle thought that A, there was moonshine involved, and B, what the witnesses in the cabin most likely saw were giant owls, great horned owls, that were perched outside their windows, that were possibly walking or moving towards the window, and that's what they shot at. I would think that they would have been able to shoot at least one of them, but yet they found no dead owls. What they did find at the very end, and by they I mean the reporters from the greenhorns, as they called them down there, who came in from out of town to report on this crazy story. They saw a green substance spattered on the fence in one of the areas where the shells were piled up. And one of the reporters said, "Oh, the aliens must have been little green men. And this is the green blood that was spattered on the fence as a result of the firing." So, and that exploded across the United States and eventually around the world, to the point where little green men became a term that we use for decades to describe.
It's pop culture. It's a part. It's literally woven into the fabric of society. Yeah. All from Hopkinsville, and and that incident. What always grabbed me about that was that there were two families. They drove to the police station. They did. They drove to the police station. Yeah. Dudes, we've got flying saucer. Yeah. We've been shooting at them all day. And I mean, they were out of their minds. How now this is where I have always inserted the joke on this story. How scared people avoid the police, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. How bad is it when you drive to the police station? Right? Think about that. You don't call, right? You drive with everybody in the cars to the police. How bad is it?
So it had to be pickup
Ooh.
trucks. It was not a car.
Yeah, of course, no doubt about it. But yeah, that is one of the that's one of the most amazing stories that we have in our community, and that is absolutely indeed where that term came from. And you're right, that the word viral is where you apply it. That is correctly used with that, because it went viral, and to this day, that is where Little Green Men comes from. And I say it all the time. All the time. You know why I say it? You know why I say it, Paul? People understand what I'm talking about.
Well, that's true.
They do, right?
That's
no question about it.
Exactly right. Yeah. So so now another one of my favorite stories is the pogo stick aliens. Are you familiar with them?
I am.
Okay, so this story comes from Poland. So right away, you insert joke here, as you say. There's some sort of Polish joke that goes along with that. But that guy, he was driving home. The story that he tells, he's driving home 4:00 in the morning, and he stops along the side of the road. Well, if it's 4:00 in the morning and you stop along the side of the road, there's no question what you're going to do. So he walked into the woods to do what he was going to do at 4:00 in the morning. And he hears this rustling, and he follows the noise, and he sees a spaceship. And if I remember correctly, the spaceship does not look like a saucer. This is a completely different piece of dishware. It looks like an overturned cereal bowl. So, and it was levitating above the ground, and nothing's falling out of it. So there must have been a bottom to it. No cereal, and I think there were lights shining on the ground underneath it. But the best part, because there were lights there, as he's doing his business, he sees these beings on what looked like one leg all around the spaceship, and their bodies were kind of a cross. He describes it as a cross between like a stuffed sack, like a giant pillow or a burlap bag, and a beer keg. Okay, which I prefer myself. It's the image of a beer keg on top of a pogo stick takes me back to things I used to do in college. But that's another show. So you've got these aliens that are underneath it. He thinks he assumes they're aliens. And he thinks that they sense his presence, but he's not sure. And what they're doing is they had arms. I remember he said they had arms, and they had sticks that they were holding. And as they hopped around, obviously they hopped on their pogo stick leg. As they're hopping, they're picking up trash. They're picking up pieces of metal. So my first thought is these are obviously criminals from another planet, and they're doing their community service on planet Earth by cleaning up the trash. If they had orange uniforms on, that would have made it perfect. Yeah,
a vest. Yeah.
Yeah. They're right along the side of the road. So he sees them, and he says they continue to go on, and then he makes the mistake of coughing. So now he panics. What am I going to do now? He makes the mistake of coughing. You got to figure out if this is me and I'm watching these aliens bouncing around on their pogo stick leg, and I cough or I sneeze and they see me. First thing I'm going to do is run back to the road, because I know there's potholes on the road. And if they're chasing me on those pogo stick legs, they're bound to hit hit that pogo stick in a pothole and fall over. I'm safe. But that's not what happened. He stayed there and watched as they hopped back into the spaceship. Now, when they opened the door, I remember this. He said that it smelled like burnt chocolate. Have you ever smelled burnt chocolate? I don't even know what burnt chocolate smells like. And I do bake. I bake chocolate, plenty of chocolate cakes, and I burn them, but they still smell good. So I'm not sure what that smell. It has to be a Polish thing. And then they took off. I believe he blacked out for an hour. And when he woke up in the car, he said he tasted burnt chocolate. So that could have meant that they may have taken him on the ship. They may have shared their burnt chocolate with him. I'm not sure what the theory is behind that. But and then he
I think I'm going to put a lighter to some dark chocolate after the show. and see what and if you can't outrun a one-legged alien,
well,
you've got problem. Yeah, you've got that story though, Paul. That story, when you go outside of what is the expected norm, right?
Yeah.
Paul goes, there's that makes it legit to me. There's something about that story that just rings as truth. How do you convince your friends? How do you tell that story? Right? Dude, they had one leg. They were pogos. How do you tell that story with a straight face? Unless that's exactly what was going on.
Yeah. The thing that legitimized it for me is that that's not the only incident of pogo stick aliens. There were other sightings of pogo stick aliens in that area. I think over the next year or so, and some of them had longer bodies. They described them like those balloons that they put in front of car dealerships now, that sway back and forth. They said some of them looked like those, but they all were on pogo stick. So I take this in the book. I say, let's say they were friendly aliens. My assumption is that there's going to be many visitors to our planet who are not aggressive, who are not coming to attack us. They're coming to say hi. Hey, neighbor, how you doing? I hope they have a sense of humor. So if this pogo stick alien comes hopping up to me, the first thing I'm going to do is walk towards a building so that he can lean against it, because it's got to take a lot of effort to stand and balance on that single pogo stick leg. So I'm going to make his life easy. I'm going to ask him questions like, how do you kick butt on your planet?
Yeah. That's a good one.
Put your pants on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another good one. I was going right there. Where are your pockets? There's a lot of
what do you do with the other shoe?
Yeah. Do you have a butt crack?
That's always a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Where do you wipe? There's a lot of that's where my mind goes with a lot of these different species and things. We can't always, I think, bipedal, 2 arms, stereo, right? Two ears, stereo, 2 eyes, stereo nose, right? Okay, all of that makes a lot of sense in an evolutionary pattern. It does. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And that DNA is DNA. Now, there's probably different versions of bipedal, just like we have here on this planet, right? Bears walk on 2 legs, by the way. Okay, so there's different ideas with that, but that certainly wouldn't apply to every single species. So you would have different versions of. There's a movie. And then we'll get back to it. There's a movie called Valerian, and it's Luc Besson. And Luc Besson, one of the greatest filmmakers of our generation, there's no question about it. The Fifth Element and The Professional and all the stuff that he's done. He's so good at what he does. And Valerian is the classic Luc Besson film. It's perfect. But in the beginning, to David Bowie, right?
Yeah.
Ground Control to Major Tom, right? That's rolling with a Space Oddity or whatever that's called. And so at the beginning of the film, these different over a couple of decades, these different species come through the hatch of the ISS, the International Space Station, and shake hands with the commander.
Right.
And the variety of what is coming through the door. It's Luc Besson. He's very creative. But I think that's exactly how it is. Right. It's going to be
Yeah.
completely.
Yes. And we have to be prepared for that. That's my point. We have to be prepared. And if the aliens come and visit you or me, I'm a comedy writer. I've been a comedy writer all my life. I've loved the paranormal world, but my roots are in comedy. Um, as you said, my wheels will be spinning with funny things to say, and I'm hoping that they that the species that comes here also has a sense of humor. I agree with you 100% that when the Big Bang happened, that was a carbon-based explosion, which means that we all originated from a carbon-based atom or blob of atom, whatever it is. So we're going to share that as all that stuff goes spanning across the universe. We share an awful lot. We all are going to live in a three-dimensional world with gravity. So three-dimensional means we have to have two things to see, two things to perceive, two things to get around. We're going to have to be mobile on that gravity. So I think I agree. We're going to meet species that we can somewhat relate to physically. I think that we'll be able to communicate with them in some way. We may be superior in communication. We always think they're going to be telepathic and they'll be, blowing our brain full of stuff. Maybe we're going to be superior. We may be inferior in space travel, but we could be superior in communication. We may be doing flip chart presentations. Okay, got all the aliens lined up and I got my chart and I'm writing things out and drawing pictures. And we give them the information and they say, wow, this is great. And they share food with us, which is another story in the book, by the way.
Okay. Let me stop you right there for a second, because do you think that ET being an evolved species, if they're getting here, then they're above us, right? Okay, they're superior. Okay, that's it. Okay, so that we have to accept that. But to get to there, did they evolve through entertainment and theater and music and sculpture and painting and writing and poetry and all of the elements of the arts, right? They would have to have gone through the same processes that we're going through, right?
I would hope so. We always talk about the physical side of evolution. We rarely talk about the conscious side of evolution. What were the people, the humans, the primitive humans, our ancestors, 1 million years ago thinking about? We got the physical part down. We know that they're making fire, but how did they think of fire? Were they trying to get warm? Were they trying to be entertained? I love that. We make shadow puppets on the wall with our light. When we're little kids, we turn the lights on, we make shadow puppets. What if that's what they did? What if that's the reason why fire was invented? Not to keep warm, not to cook food, but some guy was bored and brought some embers into his cave and put them on the leaves, and the leaves caught fire. And as he's running to get something to put it out, he sees the shadows on the cave wall. And instead of putting the fire out, he's making rabbits, he's making brontosaurus.
Right. Well,
So
because
why couldn't that happen on another planet? I agree 100%. Yeah.
You're right about that. I would guess, and I'm pretty confident and I'm pretty cocky in what I'm about to say, but laughter came before speaking. And that's how long we've been laughing. We've been laughing longer than we've been talking.
Yeah.
That's it. Right? We need that. That's a natural instinct. You see something funny, right? You're a caveman and some rock drops on your brother's head. You're going to laugh.
Right?
Right?
Yeah. if he trips as he's walking into the cave or trips
That's
over the
funny,
pipe.
man.
Yeah.
That's funny. You're gonna laugh.
Yeah, he wets his, he wets his loincloth. He's
right. So E.T. would definitely understand what laughter is about.
Sure.
And what
animals
is
do?
What's that?
I said animals do. If you want
animals laugh at us all day long. Are you kidding?
That's right. Yeah, all of our simian ape brethren all have laughed. They don't have although now we're finding that they have a primitive form of communication, but they have a very sophisticated form of laughter. You watch monkeys, go to the zoo and watch monkeys play. Oh my God, what entertainment that is. And they are having a good time. Maybe they know they're entertaining us. And if so, they're putting on a show that they go back to the wherever they hang out at night, and over some banana wine, they talk about the stupid humans that they saw today. I don't know. I think that is entirely possible. I think that's entirely possible.
If you think about it, so
now think about
closest. Well, hold on. Let me get this out.
All right.
So the closest at the speed of light, the closest stars that would have seen our transmissions and heard our transmissions and then come back to us right now, let's just say 100 years.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's right.
So that's because, right. So let's go back to 1924 and above. Right. Okay. So that means let's go 50 light years out.
Yeah.
Because that's who's going to respond back to us. What is it they saw? The honeymooners, right? They saw our gang, right? Our gang, or Laurel and Hardy, right?
Well, and they picked up radio comedy, so they picked
radio
up
comedy 100%. Which is what we were trying to do, was trying to make ourselves laugh because it's so natural. So E.T., right? That's got to be some of the first things that they hear and see of us.
Right.
Our level of evolution is Jackie Gleason, right? right? Or Charlie Chaplin.
Your first reaction to that is they're going to think, oh my God, we'll take over this planet. No problem. Right.
Yes.
The alternative to that, Jimmy, is that they laugh at it. They say, oh, hey, we do the same thing. We tell, we have a form of that joke, only instead of a priest and a rabbi and a minister, it's, the captain and whatever words they use for their leader. It's the same joke. I hope that that's what it is. I think that because of my understanding of evolution, my theories, I think that there's a good possibility that could happen. And again, the thing I wanted to point out is, I always say I hope that the aliens do have a sense of humor when they come, and I want to talk to them and I want to share jokes with them. The thing we have to be careful of is this could be the leader of their planet. So when you say to the pogo stick alien, how do you wipe your butt?
Mm-hmm.
You may be insulting the leader of their planet with that particular joke. Now, all the pogo stick barrels behind him are you'll see their heads bobbing up and down and laughing. Are they laughing at the joke, or are they laughing at what's going to happen to you once he hops over and gets a hold of you? I don't know. It sounds like a good script. I should be making notes, because that sounds like
you should be. Well, but I think these are all honest questions, and I think that one of the reasons why I think these are honest questions, contact is inevitable. We're already making contact, but I'm talking about the next level stuff. And E.T., and I just don't have another way to look at it. E.T. knows all about us. They do. They've been studying us forever. They know our languages. They know what we like. They know what scares us. They know who Van Halen is, and so, right. No, I'm being very, 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 very serious.
We can talk about music, because one of the things that I have multiple chapters in the book on musicians who have had either UFO or alien encounters. I'm a big believer in that people who are musically inclined, people who are artistic, have something in our conscience that is more open to receiving, whether it's receiving signals or being more receptive to extraterrestrial. And I think they can detect that, which is why all of the Rolling Stones have had UFO experiences. John Lennon had a UFO experience. Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix said he was an alien. Actually,
they said he was. That's right. He said he was an alien.
He did.
Yeah.
Which I don't.
That's what the song really meant. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't question that. Let's get to our break, and let me get that in. I just literally pulled off my headphones. Let's get that in, and when we come back, we'll get to some questions. I want to give away some Fade to Black T-shirts. We will also do that. Play some trivia with Paul Seaburn and much more right after this short break. This is Fade to Black. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get your alerts and access to over 2,000 videos. Click that subscribe button right now. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and get the Fade to Black official podcast. 2,000 episodes, all of them commercial free for just $2 a month. Hi, this is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I want to invite you to come to Alaska with me on the Contact at Sea cruise. It is this September 6th through the 13th, 2024. We are on the largest ship in the Pacific Ocean. That's right, the Ovation of the Seas. It's an amazing cruise, and a ship this big is so much fun. We've got lots of activities and lots of great speakers. We are leaving from Seattle to Sitka, Alaska, Skagway, Juneau. We're going to end the cruise in Victoria, BC, and arrive in Seattle on September 13th. We've got a lot of amazing speakers, including we've got Seth Showstack, Scott Walter, Stephen Bassett, Daniel Sheehan, Daryl Sims, Mas Adi, Vivian Chavez, Grant Cameron, Geraldine Orozco, Misha Johnston, and Melanie Aguirre, and a whole lot more. All you have to do is go to divinetravels.com. You can also go to contactatsea.com. Both are going to take you to a full event schedule. You can check in, look at the boat, get things ready to go, and maybe get a cabin with a balcony. That's what I'm talking about. Come see the whales. Come check it all out. Let's go to Alaska this September 6th through the 13th, 2024 with me, Jimmy Church. Now, when you head to divinetravels.com or contactatsea.com and get signed up, you know what? Use my name, Jimmy Church. I'll see you there September 6th through the 13th, 2024. Let's go to Alaska. This is Jimmy Church. Please visit and explore Egypt this October 3rd through the 14th, 2024 with Billy, Elizabeth, myself, and very special guest and the #1 podcaster in the world, Sean Kelly. It's simple to do. Just go to forbiddenknowledge.com and click on upcoming tours, or click on the link below. We'll see you there. Watch Into the Vortex on Gaia TV. It's fade to black for the screen. Simple to do. Go to Gaia.com, search Jimmy Church, or click on the link below. Follow Fade to Black on Twitter at J Church Radio. Get all of the show updates every single day. It's now called X, but who cares? How you doing? Jimmy Church here. Special announcement. Get your Fade to Black t-shirts. That's right. Help support the show. Help support everything that we do over here. We've got 2 t-shirts. We've got 2 ways to get them. Get your Fade to Black t-shirt today. Go Backley Tappy. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and become a Fadernaut. Get a membership. That's right. Everything is commercial free. You have access to downloads, and you get to call yourself a Fadernaut. River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com. All right. Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Paul Seaburn is with us. And I just, I was reading through the chat, picking up some Stump the Panel questions for Paul Seaburn. And the abductee that made mad alien love was Ronnie Dawson. And are you familiar with the Ronnie Dawson story?
I probably am. Doesn't pop into my head right away.
Just go back, search Fade to Black, Ronnie Dawson, and go and check out those. Man, that guy, he's the best. He is the absolute best, and he's got a good story, man. Yeah. Crazy alien love. So, okay, so I've got a few questions lined up here. There's lots of questions, but they're not Stump the Panel questions, okay? Like, what's the meaning of life? Well, okay, that's not a Stump the Panel question, and I can answer that one. So, but this one is from Genocide. Okay, so here's the question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Where in Canada is the Valley of Headless Men?
Now, that's a good question. I thought that the Headless Men were in Florida. That's a great story from the age of exploration in the 1400s. One of the explorers, I don't remember if it was Christopher Columbus, but one of them in their logs talked about meeting a race of giants, either in Florida or on one of the Caribbean islands, that had no head, but they had a face either in their chest or in their stomach.
Is that right? No, I've never heard that. Okay, that's pretty good. But
Now
but you still
that's not it. No, okay, I know. I'm hedging my bets here.
But you're costing me money. You're costing me money. Jonathan just won himself a T-shirt.
Time, is it? The Valley of Headless Men in Canada. I'm gonna say Montreal.
Montreal.
You know,
you could have said
in the red light district of Montreal. That's where it is. The Valley of Headless Men is in.
I would have guessed. I would have guessed Regina, but that's a whole nother story. Okay, so, John aside, you get yourself a T-shirt. Just send me an email with your address and your shirt size, and we'll get that out there to you. Okay, this is from somebody named Dickie Berg, obviously not his real name, but it's how many people follow you on your Facebook page?
Wow. Oh boy. I know I'm up to probably about 4,900 friends, but I don't always look at the followers. I'm going to say 1,274.
Wow. Okay. I don't know. So we will find out later if
I have a trivia question too when you're ready.
Okay.
Stump the audience.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, stump the audience. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Here's another good one.
Oh.
Which actor from the TV show Friends danced on stage with Bruce Springsteen in the Dancing in the Dark music video?
Oh, geez. It's the actress who played Phoebe. Or is that her name? I'm terrible.
No, it was Phoebe on Friends, right?
I think that's her, the blonde. I think she was in the Dancing in the Dark video.
Okay, so
it's not Jennifer Aniston. It's not Courtney Cox. It's the third female actress.
Okay, well then let's see who played. Oh man, I love my new keyboard. I just want an excuse on Friends.
I wish I had my book to hold up while you're killing. I could kill some time and sell some books here.
Lisa Kudrow. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. Well, let's see. I like this. Let's go with, man, I love my new keyboard. Did I with Bruce Springsteen? Okay. So, it looks like you're no, you're wrong. You cost me another T-shirt. It was Courtney Cox.
It was Courtney Cox, really?
Yeah, it says right here. Courtney Cox recreates her famous Bruce Springsteen video in Dancing in the Dark. And I'm looking at the pictures of it right here. Yeah, it was Courtney Cox. Man, you're so fired. You're so fired. Okay, Super Crazy Movie Geek.
Wow.
Send me, just email me your shirt size and your address. And we'll take care of that. And also, I need your address, Paul, to invoice you for
good luck with
all
that.
of these for all of these T-shirts that I'm going to be sending out. Let's see. Let me scroll through here. Do I have anything else flagged? I can go to the end. There's a lot of stuff here. Now, remember, everybody, put your question in all caps because I'm just scrolling by. You know who was funny, really funny to me? There are certain people that have a face that are funny. Bill Hicks was one. Bill Hicks, now comic genius, right? Yeah. No question about it. But he had a face. He had a face that made that stuff funny too, right?
He had a rubber face, right? The old term for that. He was good at making facial expressions that added to the punchline. Great guy. I used to be able to listen to him while I lived in Houston. just a comedy genius, and we lost both of those guys, Sam and Bill, far too early in their life. Here's my trivia question for you. There was a congressman, a U.S. congressman from Ohio, who had a very famous UFO encounter. I happened to meet him Sunday at a picnic that I went to. I went to a church picnic, and he was going around pressing the flesh, and he came up to my table. I was hoping he recognized me, but he didn't, and I almost didn't recognize him. U.S. congressman, not a president, who had a very famous UFO encounter that made the national news.
From Ohio, congressman,
From Ohio, right?
Not senator, so it's not John Glenn.
No, congressman.
Yeah. Not Tennessee. It's going to be Ohio.
Yeah.
Congressman.
Now,
and so obviously, is currently a congressman?
No, he's okay. I'll give you a hint. He is currently running for Congress, but he was a congressman for a number of years. Okay.
And is no longer now trying to get back into office.
He was gerrymandered out through redistricting and lost the election, and now he's running again. I'll give you another hint. He ran for president twice.
From Ohio. Ohio, yeah. Now let's see if the Dennis Kucinich.
Yeah, that I see the answer over here. Yeah.
Everybody pop that up. It's a different day today. He can rerun, and nobody is going to make fun of him. But how quickly he dropped out of the race the next day after that debate.
Yeah. And it was it came from Shirley MacLaine's memoir, where she told the story that he was living with her while he was living in California, and he shared it with her, and then it goes out in the memoir. So then he had to respond. So I asked him about it while we were at the picnic, and he said, "Yeah, it's true." He said, "I did see something on Mount Rainier, and I don't know what it was, and I'm sticking to that story." And his lovely wife, who towers above him, he's like about 5'6", and she's well over 6 feet tall. She nodded her head, so it sounds like she's heard the story too. But yeah, he had to drop out. Boy, those were the days.
They couldn't wait. You know what though? And shame on the press.
Yeah.
Because the way that they framed the question and the way that they hit him, they wanted him to look batshit crazy. Right. And it's like shame on the press. Like, you're going to go after somebody like that. And he instantly was out. Could not recover. Now, I don't think he was
long to get back into the race. Yeah.
Well, and you can do that now. Nobody's going to, but back then, like I said, shame on the press. I'm not saying, and I steer clear of politics because it just infuriates me. So I literally, Paul, today, I don't read it. I don't care about it. It doesn't matter what side of the fence, it's just so polluted, and I'm a happier person because of it. There's nothing in politics that steers my life decisions. I just don't. Okay,
keep your head clear. Yes.
Here's this is another good question. Yeah, this one's going to test you. I like this. Where did Pink Floyd perform Echoes?
Perform it or record it? Perform it. That's the question. Okay. It says perform. I'll say in a high school gym in Jacksonville, Florida. I have no idea. Sorry, Jimmy. Here, you want my shirt here?
That's okay. That's okay. You're costing me money. Undead Jed, email me your address and your your shirt size, and we'll get that out there to you. This I've talked about this a lot on the show over the years. That's why the question is being asked. It's one of the greatest. They did it at Pompeii, and yeah, it's one of the greatest concert videos in the history of music. Period. If not the greatest performances of all time, and they did it in a Roman amphitheater. They set up in Pompeii, and the performance is extraordinary, but it was all shot on film. They did an immense amount of sound check. Pink Floyd were perfectionists. And what went down, that performance of Echoes at Pompeii is extraordinary. Undead Jed, you deserve that shirt. Paul is old enough. I thought Paul would have been there when they did that. I think they did it in
I was there when they installed the plumbing in Pompeii. That was
yeah, right. You were there. 1972 they did that.
Surprisingly, you bring up Pink Floyd. I have found no UFO encounters by any member, by Roger Waters or any of the members of Pink Floyd, as opposed to the Rolling Stones, as I mentioned before, where Mick Taylor, Ron Wood, they talked about talking about concerts. Mick Jagger claimed that there was a UFO seen at Altamont during that concert. Now, I've watched that video many times. There were cameras all over the place. Did any of them pick up a UFO? No, they were trained on girls taking their tops off and Hell's Angels beating people up the whole time.
Right.
So sure, it could have happened, but no one picked it up. On the other hand, you mentioned Jimi Hendrix, and I believe that he saw UFOs in between performances. He was doing a multi-concert performance at a venue, maybe in California, and he was in a tent or out off to the side, and he claimed he had orbs or UFOs come to visit him, and he had witnesses, according to the story that I read, that also witnessed it. But again, this was in when did he die? In 1971? No, 71. There were no cell phones back then. Yeah, so there were no people with Polaroid, not Polaroids or the little disposable cameras there. That was I hate to say, it's what ancient times those were, that we didn't have records like that. Maybe it's better that we didn't, but so Pink Floyd, of all people, you would think would be
you would think Dark Side of the Moon and everything that they write about, and Hendrix, when he came through, I've got a weird connection to him, right? 6 degrees of separation, but this is one of those 1 degree stories. So Hendrix comes to Southern California, and he's playing in the San Fernando Valley, and he breaks his guitar neck. So he needs a replacement guitar neck put on his guitar. There's a guy, his name's Neil Moser. He's built 7 guitars for me going back to 1984, 1985 when I met Neil. Neil is one of the best builders in the world, and we're still very, very close friends to this day. He's the absolute best, right? So anyway, so I'm reading this story about the Telecaster neck that is in these photographs of Hendrix. He's got a Telecaster neck on his Strat, and it's a famous Strat. It's a famous. So anyway, I'm reading the story, and the story goes, so he needed a new guitar neck, and he takes his guitar to Neil Moser in the San Fernando Valley. I'm like, Neil Moser, what? And Neil didn't have a replacement Strat neck, but he had a Telecaster neck. So you've got a Jerry, Matt, there's work that you just don't bolt this on. Anyway, and that's the guitar. And I'm reading this, and I'm like, no, I'm calling BS on this. I call Neil. So what? And he goes, yeah, man, I was 18 years old. Yeah, I was I was 19, 1969, San Fernando Valley, and they just showed up at my shop. Hendrix comes in with this broken neck. I go, this is a true story. He goes, yeah, it's a true story. Yeah, I put the Telecaster neck, that's my neck, on Hendrix's guitar. And I was like, oh my God. And he's telling me the story. And those photographs of him in the San Fernando Valley may be what you're talking about here.
That could be. That could be. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Those were the days. I tell the story that when I was in high school, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles played at my high school gym. Joe Walsh and the James Gang, before they became famous, played at a dance at my high school gym. You could see such Eric Carmen, who just passed away. The band that he had before the Raspberries was called Cyrus Erie. He was a regular performer, his band, at high school dances when I went to school. We just saw such great music for 50 cents, for allowance money. I use that as the comparison to what we have to pay for concerts today. I hate to sound old. Obviously, you've
you are sounding you're sounding ancient right now. I had somebody on the show. It'll come back to me here in just a second. This is just a couple of weeks ago, from Canada, and we were talking about Canada's best exports, right? And it just came up, I'm cracking jokes and whatever. And I said, well, man, it's not Rush, man. It's Triumph. And he goes, man, Triumph played my high school. And I thought, how cool to be able to tell that story, right? Yeah. That, and he's really good friends with Rush and all of that. Okay. So anyway, back to this. Let's, I like Rush. Now, not blow this question, Paul.
Oh, okay.
How many songs did you write for your children's show?
Taylor's Attic. Let me think. I wrote 3 songs per show, and we did 11. We did 11 plus 2 best of. So 11 the first season, 11 the second season. That's 22 times 3, 66 songs.
66 songs. Oh, you're feeling pretty confident about that?
Yeah, if you dig up a bio of me, I'm pretty sure that's what I've said. 66 songs.
Okay, all right. Phew, cool. Because I'm running out of shirts. I love
talking about that. The Taylor's Attic was a fun show. It was one single human and a bunch of puppets run by fabulous puppeteers from Columbus, Ohio. They would do whatever I got them, whatever I wrote in the script. They'd lay on the ground. They'd make those puppets put their hands through holes in the floor and make the puppets do backflips. I had a puppet juggling, and all in the name of finding things that were funny for children, their parents, and their grandparents. My inspiration.
Well, that's amazing, and I love that. Yeah. I love that. But what's more interesting is that you have 6.9 thousand followers on Facebook. You were off by 5.1 thousand, and you cost
every single one of them. Wow!
Yeah, and but you cost me another T-shirt.
Let me see if I can get each one to send me a penny, and that should cover the cost of the T-shirt and the shipping.
Dickie, send me an email with your shirt size and your address, and So
I want to wrap all this together. My inspiration for comedy, I've had a number of inspirations: George Carlin, Johnny Carson, but another one was the Rocky and Bullwinkle show.
Loved it.
The cartoon show. Yeah, it was topical. It was funny. I used to watch it with my dad. He laughed at it. I laughed at it. So I knew that there were jokes in there for multiple generations. And Taylor Mason and I, when we pitched the idea for our show, that's what we said. We want to have jokes for kids, but the focus is on kids. But we want the kids to be able to watch it with their parents and see their parents laugh and their grandparents laugh. So whoever it is that they're watching with. And we did one. We had mice. We had 12 mice that were little hand puppets that were characters, and the story was they had a bowling alley in the cuckoo clock. So we had sound effects. We had sound effects of them going into the cuckoo clock, and you would hear the ball rolling and the pins dropping, and they'd come back out and they'd be fighting and doing, the things.
Were you smoking? You were smoking weed.
Yeah, like the Proof Rock brothers doing whatever that I can't remember the name of the show that they did. No, we're not. Believe it or not,
I mean, how do you
network? It was on a Christian network.
How do you come up? I don't Christian or not. You're smoking weed if you're doing mouse on fingers, and they live in a cuckoo clock where they have a bowling alley.
Yeah,
you're doing bong rips. You're doing bong rips.
I was having flashbacks. Let's just say I was having flashbacks. We were very good.
Okay, here's another good one.
Oh, there's a good one. Yeah.
This is from McCall Dean. He says, Paul, who was now you have to know this. You have to. You're old enough. Who was the Secretary of the Navy when the attack of Los? Yeah, I was on the boat. When the attack of Los Angeles occurred, February of 1942.
Oh, I know who it was. It was John Foster Dulles.
It was John Dulles?
Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna find out.
Okay.
I'm gonna find out. You think it was John Dulles? I think it was Secretary of the Navy, not Secretary of Defense. Forrester was Secretary of Defense. So you think John Dulles?
John Dulles. I think he went back that far. Yeah, he was. I believe he went from Roosevelt to Truman, and that's when people became aware of him more, and he became famous. Carol Burnett wrote a song to John Foster Dulles. I don't know. There's a trivia. I should have asked what comedian wrote a song that she was in love with John Foster Dulles.
You cost me another T-shirt.
I did? Oh no. Who was it? His brother?
Frank Knox.
Really?
Yeah, right here. Frank Knox, Secretary of the Navy from July of 1940 to April of 1944.
Oh, 40 years.
I just Googled it. I just Googled it. Okay. All right, Macau. That's a great question. That's a good question. Yeah. That's a legit good question.
Yeah, and very UFO related. Think about that. Let's get back to the theme. That was a battle. That was obviously, if the story is true, that was a battle fought between UFOs and I guess it was ships, if I remember correctly. There may have been Army units as well firing anti-aircraft weaponry against them, if I remember the photos correctly. That's what I try to get away from, because those are the kinds of things that implant the negative ideas of aliens in our heads, and I firmly believe that they're not all that way. And I've just encountered too many stories of I tell the one about the aliens from planet Clarion. This is one you probably know. It's the Aura is her name. Shoot, I can't remember her name. It's it's a famous one. It was UFO landed, beautiful woman, beautiful female alien comes out. She has a red beret, a skirt, and sunglasses. And the gentleman falls in love with her. She says she's the commander of the ship. He falls in love with her. The part that I didn't know, and eventually his wife divorces him because he left his wife for the alien. But the part that I didn't know as I was researching the story was, as he was talking to her in the first encounter, the door is open. He hears music coming out of this spaceship. and he recognizes the music, and he said, but he can't believe it. He says, "What is that music that you're playing?" And she says, "Oh, those are polkas. It's the music of our planet. The planet Clarin was in it.
Her name was Rains.
Or Rain. That's it. There you go. Yes. Good trivia question.
That's a great trivia question. That's a great trivia question. That's going back. That's like George Van Tassel old. Those old contactee stories like that. How and I don't want to run out of time. I'm going to get some more questions in, but when you look at the old newsreel footage from the news services back then, going up to people on the street, like how Jay Leno did it, right? And going up, and they would have tinfoil hats on, 1952, 53, 54, black and white. Okay, so you rode on a spaceship last night? I did. Where'd you go? Drove around Earth, and then we went out to Jupiter. Really, what was it like? It was really kind of like, now, how many? It sounds crazy. It probably was. But everybody had this story.
Yeah.
And what it makes you wonder with this contactee thing, are humans really susceptible to jumping into some crazy DNA activated psychosis, right? Because everybody was saying it, right?
Yes.
Or was there something else actually going on? I don't know. But it seems really strange to me that so many contactees were bubbling to the surface like that.
Bubbling to the surface with strange stories. So that's the key right there. As I said before, I find it unusual that there's so many creative people, so many musicians, jazz musicians, even not just rock musicians, who have had close encounters of various kinds, either spaceships or alien. It could be that the communication is going on. They're sending their signals to
downloading
them up. And some people are more open to them. John Lennon, more open to it because of his creativity. Other people, the man on the street in the tinfoil hat, something is banging in his head. He doesn't know what it is. He deals with it the best way he can. I've got to protect myself somehow. Maybe he heard the tinfoil hat stories from somewhere. Maybe he just looked in his house and said, "What protects the roast from the heat? It's this tinfoil. Maybe that will help me." Who knows?
Man,
but I think that type of mass communication could explain a lot. It could explain why so many people have really.
I love that. I love that. It was blanketed. It blanketed the earth, right? And everybody got the same. Okay, now this one I don't have the answer to. So I'm going to throw this out there to you. This is from Perminator. What is the name of the lesser-known cryptid that inhabits the dense forest of northern Canada?
The name of it. Oh, it's the. Is this the one that's the tree? That's the problem when you cover so many stories. They're all crammed in there.
But do you know of a cryptid that have you heard that story that inhabits the dense forest of northern Canada? I didn't know that. I didn't know there were forests in northern Canada. There's a lot of grassland and there's ice, right? But okay, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. Is it that wood? There's a
northern Canada. I just want to excuse to use my new keyboard. God, this thing is nice.
Obviously.
The devil monkey.
The devil monkey. I have heard of it.
I've got it right here. Oh, you know where this is posted on?
Oh no.
Mysterious Universe. You are so fired. I'm looking at it. It's right here. The devil monkey. Northeastern Canada.
Like I
It's
said,
4 to 6 feet tall.
probably really, one of the best jobs I've ever had is working for Mysterious Universe. I love, Ben and Aaron, great guys to work for. When I started with them back in I guess 2011, I was looking for a job. I had been writing for a funny news service out of New York, and it was called Rocket Boom. It was one of those brief, very popular viral early podcast, I would call it, back in the 2010. The guy, the owner, hired good-looking female newsreaders, and my job was to find unusual stories with punchlines in them that they would present. So you tuned in to see the girls, and then you listened for the funny stories.
Yeah, that works. That
It
works.
works great.
That tracks. That tracks.
As we talked about before, he took his money and he spent it somewhere else, and we were all out of a job. So I went looking for a job, and I found an ad on Craigslist, and I sent some clips of what I had written to Ben and Aaron, and they said, "This is exactly what we're looking for, except can you do the same thing with stories about aliens and Bigfoot and ghosts and paranormal subjects?" And I said, "Sure, let's try it and see how it works." I didn't know if it would last. I didn't know if the audience would buy into it. But here I am, 13 years later. I'm the editor of the site. I've gotten to work with.
It's a great site. I spend a lot of time there, and I steal some of my best material from you. Okay,
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, you're in debt now. So, okay, this is from Jack the Lad. What is the official national animal of Scotland?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say the Loch Ness monster.
No, I think I know it. I think I know it.
Yeah,
and I'm not Googling. I'm gonna take a guess. You ready?
Oh,
I'm gonna say the unicorn.
What's on their do they have something on their flag?
Hold on. National.
Hey, do they have a flying horse? Somebody's got a flying horse.
Animal.
That's a Pegasus
of Scotland. Let's see. Yeah, I'm right.
Oh, very good. Wow. Okay. Give me your address and I'll send you one of my pieces.
Oh man.
Good one. Good question.
Somebody
Jack,
said,
thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of unicorns here. Everybody said that was easy. You know what? I think that was one of my fader facts a couple of years ago. That's the only reason why I know that. This is a lot of fun. We should let's see here. Oh, wait. Am I right? It's the Ugwie. That's the cryptid. I think it's the Ugwie.
Is that a monster from another loch?
Okay. What was okay? Now here's one you should know. Okay. Please, for all that is holy and blessed, for the baby Jesus, for the win, you have to have this one. All right.
Okay, go.
Here it is. This is from Gizmo. What year and month was Travis Walton's experience?
Yeah, people think I know all this stuff.
You should. You write for 13 years.
Jimmy, I've written. Do you remember all 2,000 stories, all 2,000 shows that you've done?
No, but I know the month and year of Travis Walton's abduction.
Of course. I have no idea. Christmas. It was December 1953. I have no idea.
Travis Walton.
No, he's around.
Okay, do you know? Okay, I'll make it easy on you. Just don't cost me a T-shirt. Well, you kind of did. What?
Yeah.
What town was it in? What town did he live in? What state? I'll even expand it out. What?
Yeah. I have no idea. I'm telling you.
Paul. Paul, I'm gonna write to the owners of Mysterious Universe.
Go ahead.
This is
I'm the
painful.
unusual stuff. This is not unusual. This is a
No,
standard,
this
famous but not unusual.
you
Famous
can't
but not unusual.
you can't know everything. That's for sure.
Can't know everything. That's right.
But
The career of a trivia writer, believe it or not.
But I'm going to say this. There are certain things you should know. What year was Roswell, right? There are certain that what year was Betty and Barney Hill. These are things you should, right? There, Travis Walton is right there on that list, man. Who is,
Barney Hill was 1961.
Yes.
I have no idea.
That was 1961. That was 19. Yeah. I mean, there are certain things like
I'll be honest.
Who is the guitar player for Led Zeppelin?
Jimmy Page.
Right. Yeah. What state was Travis Walton abducted in? It's that level of question.
No, it's
that
not.
Level of question.
No, it's not. No, I listened to Led Zeppelin every day for 4 years while I was in college. Every single day I listened to Led Zeppelin.
Fair enough. Okay, it's a question like that.
I didn't look at Travis Walton's picture.
Paul, you don't get a pass card on this one. You don't. It's like saying, okay, who was the host of the Johnny Carson show? It's like that. It's like that. It's like that.
Okay,
all right.
Walton Hills, Ohio.
Gizmo says, "Come on, Paul, you can do it. You can do it." Okay.
Wait, where's my phone? Okay.
Yeah, Gizmo, send me your email. You earn the shirt. That's what we are doing here.
You're embarrassing me on national radio.
You know what? Yes. Here's the thing. I should be able to entangle my brain with yours, and you should be able to just blurt it out. Okay. All right. Now,
that doesn't sound very pleasant, Jimmy.
This is from Philip.
This is
from Philip.
Paranormal porn we're doing now. Go.
Who was the original host of Unsolved Mysteries?
Leonard Nimoy. William Shatner. I don't know. You got me. So those of you who are not watching, Jimmy looks pretty frustrated here as a result of my.
Okay, I'm going to make this. I'm not
even looking at the comments on. I should look at the comments. Maybe somebody will give me the answer. Rod Sterling.
Okay. See, but here's the thing. Okay. With Unsolved Mysteries, did you ever see the movie? You must have. Hold on a minute. I've got to get the title right. Oh man, it's just got away from me. It got away from me. Alien Women on the Moon. What? Anyway,
I remember the 50-foot woman.
It was a comedy from the 1980s. Okay, so anyway,
so he was in that movie?
But that was going to be my hint for you, but now I can't remember.
Oh, gee. So it's Contagious.
Alien Women on the Moon.
It's Contagious. Now my brain waves are messing up with your brain waves.
Anyway, it's Robert Stack.
Robert Stack, yeah. And once I saw that, I saw the comment. I remember that now. Yeah, The Untouchables. See, now I remember The Untouchables because I'm really old, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Not the movie.
I'm trying to. Alien Women on the Moon. I cannot remember the name of the movie. Amazon Women on the Moon.
Yeah.
So he does a take of Unsolved Mysteries, right? And he's walking down the street. It's one of the funniest. The movie itself is really good, and it's a bunch of different directors, and they go in and they do these comedy skits, and it's really good. Anyway, so Robert Stack, he's doing his unsolved mysteries thing, right? He's got his fedora, he's got his London fog, jacket, and he's walking down this street, and he goes, "Now, is it possible that Jack the Ripper was actually the Loch Ness monster?" And they do this, and they cut away, and it's Nessie going up the street, right? Going up to the streetwalker. "Oh, governor, you looking for a good time?" And Robert Stack deadpans it, man.
Deadpan. Yeah.
Deadpans it. It is just so well done. It is so well done.
I'll have to look for that. That's yeah. Again, to bring it to a logical conclusion, that's part of the reason why I wanted to write the book, because I wanted UFO experiences to be entertaining. They really should be entertaining. If you want people to be interested in the paranormal, your friends who aren't interested, what better way than to tell them the story about what the guy who was visited by the naked aliens, or the guy who was visited by aliens playing polkas, or the pogo stick aliens, or the Michelin Man aliens, another chapter of my book. Very, very famous aliens that were shaped like the Michelin Man. Multiple sightings of them in France. Go figure, where Michelin is headquartered. So again, I think it's important for us to share stories like that. I think it's important to do it with a sense of humor. It's important to think, what would you do? What would you do? We laugh about the aliens that land in the middle of a farm community and meet the farmer. They're not necessarily going to do that. They may land in your backyard and come over, knock on the door, and say, it's like Ed McMahon delivering the check, or Jay Leno with the microphone. "Hey, we're from Alpha Centauri, and we're here to say hi, and here's some waffles." Another story from the book, that the farmer who was visited by aliens, and they brought him waffles. What do you say when an alien serves you waffles? "No, I'm a pancake guy." Do you actually? He raised chicken. This is the thing that amazed me. What if an alien brings you waffles, you're going to want to make eggs for them. What are eggs? Eggs are the embryos of living things. Can you imagine aliens watching this guy go to a living creature and stealing their babies and cooking them and serving them to the alien? And then he asks if they want milk, and he goes to a cow. Okay. And the aliens watch as one Earth being goes to a female Earth being and grabs her by the udder and does something and brings it back and gives it to them. Okay. If they don't understand that, you've got a lot of splaining to do, as Lucy would say.
Right. Okay. One last question. Question. Okay. This is another softball. This is just so I don't have to send out another shirt and you can look good. Okay. That's all. That's all this is. Okay. This is all this is. Which state boasts the most Bigfoot sightings?
Okay. I'd like to say Ohio, where we are, but I will say Washington State.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. No, wait, that better be right. Ken Priest.
It's not Oregon.
Is there another? It could be though.
Close.
What about California?
No, it's not California. No,
you don't think it's California?
No.
I would say my guess would be Washington. Okay. Yeah. But see, this is the thing. Ken is a friend of mine who doesn't give a crap about me sending out shirts. He thinks it's funny. He's a friend of mine, and he's also very smart. So, okay, what?
Oh, so you think he's tricking you?
Yeah, I think he's messing with me, because I would say Washington.
Who would do something like that to you, Jimmy? What kind of friend would do something? I would never do something like that to you.
Most Bigfoot sightings. He's going to text me right now. Okay, let's see.
If you're interested, by the way, while you're waiting for
Okay,
Jimmy to come up with
it's Washington. It's Washington.
Washington. There are also a number of there's stories about Bigfoot coming out of spaceships, and I do have a chapter in the book about some of those instances and what I would say to a Bigfoot if I saw them exiting a spaceship and coming up to talk to me. So you got to see the book for that one, because I think we're out of time, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We're out of time. Ken Priest just said he's right.
Thank you, Ken. You're a wonderful person, no matter what Jimmy says about you.
Undead Jet says
You can be my friend.
he lobbed a softball. I love that. Okay, so hey, Paul, thank you so much. And the book is out now. It's on Amazon, right?
On Amazon right now. That's right. You can go to my website, paulseaburn.com. I have a link to the Amazon site there as well.
And of course, everybody, mysteriousuniverse.org. We've got the links for everything below over on social media and on our website. Paul, be safe and be well. Now go do some writing. Okay. All right.
Okay. Super.
I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. It's Paul Seaburn. This is Fade to Black. Everybody have a great, safe, fun, and amazing weekend. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Special thanks to Bill, John, Dex, Jessica, Dennis, and Kevin. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Space Boy. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2024 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Go back, Lee Tappy.